then they
Aware that I'm
say
being recorded.
this is really socially awkward, and we're starting at take 2 with Elisabeth Donaldson. She's a creative genius and actress, and we'll just make up things. She's also a model and a crime boss in Nashville, Tennessee.
I'm totally a crime boss. That's the major thing that I am.
Yes. Now, okay. So we tried recording this somewhere else. And basically the question I asked you was, how is the move from as an artist from Nashville to LA? You said it was tough. I'm LA to Nashville. Sorry. That's the direction people are going these days. Because now, do you feel in the last couple of years you're getting more of a companions coming into the area? They're like, we're going to move to Nashville.
I mean, everybody's moving to the South, especially with everything that happened with the big C word, the BID, as I call it.
Right.
And Los Angeles is really locked down. Atlanta has a huge film market. So Atlanta is, I mean, there's like Tyler Perry has a whole, do you know about Tyler Perry's studios? Like,
I know, yeah, it's his own project. I didn't know how big it was because you're introducing it like it's a very big deal.
Oh, it is. He literally turned like an old army base into his studios. And so there's housing. So when you go to like shoot like at his studios, there's lodging for everyone. So during the time of like the VID, that was like a really big deal because you could literally like you could go and quarantine and do all that stuff. So they're just like, he's totally like locked and loaded. There's really incredible tax breaks, not in Nashville, but like in the South.
Yeah.
And there's just like all this really, really, really great stuff. So it's a great market. And I mean, I don't know. I have friends who've moved to LA.
Yeah. From Nashville.
Yeah, like in the middle of all this time, which always boggles my mind because like every time we do it, I'm like, why would you want to live in LA? Like, why would you ever go there? But I mean, obviously, I haven't been there in a long time. Obviously, there's things still happening, but I just find that Nashville, for me, as like a whole and total creative, it's like really free. Like when I lived in Los Angeles and I was, and I was doing the acting thing there 24/7. I just worried about acting and what casting directors thought of me and acting class and like you run into somebody at Trader Joe's and they're like, how are you? And then you're like, oh, I just sent out a mailing, and like classic actor personality, like hiking. It was just obnoxious. And now when I meet people like that, I'm like, please get away from me. Like I just like when you just kind of like, I don't know, I feel like when you live in LA and you get involved in the kind of like actor thing, you just have this one track mind. And you're like, I'm going to a casting director workshop, and it's like, nobody fucking cares, dude. Like get a life, like get a fucking dog, like go out of the country, get a hobby. Like just please stop telling us about these postcards that you sent out, because
but maybe that is their hobby. Maybe their hobby is casting director workshops.
Yeah. I guess that maybe that could be the
Some
thing.
people go to the ballet, other people just go to workshops. They try to work on their monologues.
Yeah, that's true. And there's nothing wrong with being super. I mean, God, I told you, it's funny. Oh, I didn't preface this because when on our failed recording, I said, I'm going to sound like such a bitch. And then I didn't preface it here. So I actually am really,
you're actually lovely. Yes.
It is funny. It is funny though, because I think about the fact that like, I'm also like kind of a snob in certain ways. And like, there's a bitchy part of me that like over the past 2 years got stronger. And so it's funny because sometimes I'm like, oh no, wait, like I'm a really, like when I'm out in the world, I'm like, I like your outfit. I love your hair. Those are great shoes. Hey, like I'm like spreading joy like fairy dust.
Right.
But then I'm like, if you send postcards, get out, like on the internet, I'm like,
yeah.
So mean,
That's good. Don't hold back. That sells. I think if you want your own show, I think they like that. That's a good.
Think so. I've had success. Like, what do they say? Like, be polarizing. I mean, I try to be. I like to be polarizing about things that utterly don't matter.
But you're more polarizing, like left or right. You're polarizing like out. You're just like, I'm out.
Yeah. Or polarizing like I hate cargo shorts. You know what I mean? Like I like to. That's my favorite way to get my rage out, is to just find something
to rage about. You don't have like a rage journal. You would just
I did start journaling, and it was a little ragey one day. I wrote the entire page of like, I'm annoyed, I'm like just a whole page of repetition of I'm annoyed.
Right.
And then it was very cathartic, actually.
Now I actually have to thank you because of you, I got into SAG and my wife got into SAG.
Oh, the pizza commercial. Yes.
Pizza Hut, the
That was like
natural.
right before I moved to Nashville. That was like almost why I was able to move out here, because I came out to Nashville to do nonprofit
And
work.
you booked this
Mm-hmm.
and you were told you basically you had carte blanche to be like, what friends of mine do I want to get into SAG?
Yeah. Yeah. It was cool. That was like a cool, I don't think, I think that no, I did know that everybody was going to get into SAG. And so it was crazy because not only did I have to keep the pizza a secret, but
Yes,
I had to keep the
that was
SAG stuff a secret. And I was like, this is so, and then like when people said no, because some people were like, I don't know if I can make it. And I was like, how do I convince these people?
yeah.
I
To
can't blow the
be
secret, but
not don't be LA about this.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Let's
Like you
actually be
need to
there.
do this job.
Don't
Like,
show up a half hour late. You want to be
yeah.
here. Yes.
And then some
And
people got like, thousands of dollars.
my wife got residuals. I didn't make the cut, but she did. So we both got in that way. Yeah,
So
I mean it's interesting. I don't know. I like being in the union, but I mean I don't necessarily do a lot to utilize it.
sure.
I don't know. I'm actually a little on the fence because like, with SAG stuff, especially with the VID, like we had, there's mandates still in place that like if you're gonna keep telling me I need to be this and this, like I'm not gonna be able to audition for your thing. So
A
it's
little,
like, so it's
come to
like,
the South. Comes.
because what's the advice then? Is the advice to just leave the union? Is the advice to go, would you say to people thinking FICOR is the way?
FICOR. I've been FICOR for a million years. I was
Okay.
FICOR when we did that commercial. I was FICOR.
Wow.
Yeah, and
Okay.
just for anybody, I just want to
Yeah,
explain
let's explain
FICOR.
what that is.
So
Because that's my wife is actually that. She doesn't publicize that. But it's okay. Only three
people get
people.
shady. Well, in the South, you like need to be. I mean, almost all the work that I do out here is non-union.
Right.
Like
Because it's
because
just, yeah, it's not LA. It's
it's the
not New
South. I
York.
do a lot of independent stuff. I do my bread and butter is like commercials and local
Right.
commercials. So I do a ton of commercials. My dog is in here. He's like,
That's okay. Bring him
um,
on.
so financial core actually, and this is very little known because people think that it only applies to SAG. It was
Right.
actually created by like workers in an automobile union in
Mhm.
like the 30s or the 40s or something,
Yeah.
because they didn't want their dues to support a political candidate that they didn't believe in.
Right.
So they wanted to essentially be able to get the benefits of being in the union and the protection of the union without having to be locked into like the ideology, et cetera, of a
Okay.
union. And so, and with SAG Financial Core, for anyone out there who doesn't know, would
Yeah.
mean that you still are SAG and you're able to do everything. But you can also do whatever you want. You can do there's no penalties. You can do non-union stuff. But
Right.
if there's projects that are still saying that you have to do this or that,
Yeah.
then unfortunately FICOR is not going to help you there.
Right. Right. But like my wife, like she books now because she has that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
I love
like
how we're like this.
what do I get from still being here is
Yeah,
I get my issues of the magazine, I get to vote on contracts,
yeah.
I get screeners, I can vote in the SAG awards. And I could
Oh,
like if
that's cool.
I want, it was just cool. I've done that. And yeah, it's just like, but my wife's like, oh, they're asking about like a family shoot. Would you like to do this? It's all of us as a family, but it's not this, it's non-union. And so it's like, it's a bit of like, do I have this like idyllic union credit in my future that I'm waiting for when I'm like, say 60 years old? Or do
Sure.
I want to just stay? Or do I just, get the chance to, act with family without any limits?
You know what
So
I
it's
think?
yeah,
I take it all the way back around to how I opened this, is
yeah,
that if you lived in Tennessee, you wouldn't have those thoughts.
right.
Those are very distinct.
Yeah.
God, I'm going to sound like such a bitch. Those are very distinct, like actor in LA concerns.
I
I
just want to like say
they're
I
the
ever
top.
get like a radio show and like you got to be AFTRA. Like well, technically I guess I am,
Yeah.
but so
But if
that's
you
all.
go by core, it's like you are that. Like, and
Yeah.
even if you've ever, what people don't tell you too, because I went through a period of time where like I was when I first moved here and I was really broke, and my
Yeah.
my membership expired,
Right.
but I'm still eligible. So
Sure.
anything SAG, like they'll still hire me.
Sure.
And if you like, there's a podcast that I love, and it's called what is it called? That One Audition.
Okay.
And they have all these like interviews with actors who, not necessarily like famous people, but like people who you would know, like
Yeah.
working actors.
Yeah.
And what a lot of them talk about is the fact that like all of these little technical minutia that everyone out there tells you is so important. It's just not, none of it's actually important. Like all that's important is like your work ethic and your talent and your like hustle. You know, like because a casting director, if they absolutely love you, or like a show, if like you do the thing, because there's so many people on that one audition who went on to be huge actors, and some of them like didn't have any agents. Like the chick who was on, who plays the warden in freaking The Orange is the New Black.
Okay.
Role. She was unrepresented and not in SAG.
Oh.
When she
Wow.
got that part.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and there's like story after story
Sure.
after story after story of people who like were in similar positions. So it's kind of like, if I don't know, I just believe in the power of like the individual and the internet. And I think like sometimes I'm like, if people just spent more time crafting, like instead of worrying about the minutia of like, and if SAG, and this is my viewpoint. This is like, and this is like, this is really happened to me when I moved to Tennessee, because like I said, I was no longer part of that actor culture in Los Angeles that like, in my opinion, this is going to sound radical. I honestly find that culture to be toxic, which toxic is a heavy word. Like toxic is like, it's the same, you know how there's like buzzwords of
well,
like,
it can have like, you know, like it's like it can get clicky and it can get high schooly, you know.
Yeah, but not even that. It's more like there's false information that is counter to the survival and happiness and success of actors.
Right.
Like,
right.
And the culture, like think about it. Like there's all these people who live in Los Angeles, and like a small percentage of them work, and most of them like don't actually make a living from acting. And no shade to that. But then there's all these like people who don't make a living. They're like actually not thriving as like professional working actors. And then they're giving each other a bunch of advice about the do's and don'ts of acting.
Right.
But it's like none of you.
What are your stats?
Yes. Yeah. And like, what are their stats as creative? So if you're like somebody and like you have like job X and you're, you know what I mean? I mean, and I was that way. Like when I lived in LA, I worried about acting all the time. And now what I worry about is my own creativity. And I just think that that's a radically different view.
Did you start stepping up like what you've been putting out on social media in like the last year or so? It seems like I've been seeing you pop up, unless you've engineered an algorithm that I feel like a lot of people are seeing you more. Like what, 15,000 on Instagram, right? 15,000.
I started going really, really, really hard this year. I also started kind of honing in really heavily on comedy, and sketch comedy, and like kind of, I really had a vision, because it was kind of like, I mean, the 20s were awful. And so for like, you know, you have 2020 and you have 2021, and I was just sort of like trying to survive. And half of 2020, I was making masks and all that stuff. And like, none of us were doing anything. So I wanted to be writing films and making content. I've always had this plan that I wanted to execute on, but I just wasn't able to, didn't have the wherewithal. Like and especially in 2020, a lot of people found themselves, like a lot of people in 2020 like blew up, but I was just I was like crying every day. Like I was like, I wasn't ready to make comedy.
See, I thought you were talking about like your 20s, like your 20 to 29.
Oh no,
but that's what you're okay.
I refer to the pandemic.
That's why I was like, yes, because we're not talking about the 1920s anymore.
Yeah, because I hate calling it, I don't want to call it like the VID.
Yeah.
And I'm so sick of the word pandemic. And I think I've also learned to like, I have a lot of interesting slang that I use, because when you're like somebody who's constantly putting content and communication on the internet, you have to kind of like make sure you don't say certain words, because robots will be like, oh, you're talking about this, or we're going to content, or we're going to add this link to this content. And I just, it's not even a political thing. I just am like, I just want like
the natural people to see you organically.
Yeah, I'm just like, get your link off my page. Like, I'm just talking about like the 1920s, but or the 2020s. But but definitely this year I came back. You know, I took sort of a sabbatical for 2 months.
Hmm.
Kind of like, because 2021 was a really hard year for me. I had a flood and my roommate died of the
Oh wow.
VIP, and like it was pretty rugged. So I took a sabbatical and then, you know, got my head right. And then I came back and was like, let's do this. And so now I have a really intense, I mean, I have like a checklist of
Yeah.
like the content that I do. And sometimes, I mean, life, when you're making content, life gets crazy.
Hmm.
So obviously, like, you may have the things that you want to do, you have your list of ideas, but one week it's like, okay, we didn't get to shoot any skits this week.
Hmm.
Now on TikTok, I've been going really hard. I've had some stuff blow up that's very like, just me talking shit like in the street, you know, like, well, because TikTok is very
Like
much,
to people, like you're in the street talking to,
no, just I call
just
it talking shit, like me on a walk, like having thoughts, like
like a
some of my,
PSA, like a Donaldson PSA.
yeah, or just like, I don't know about you, like I have some of my most, I like literally just have comedy running through my mind
Right.
at all
Yeah.
times. So then like I'll be on a walk, and it's interesting because TikTok, especially TikTok or Instagram stories, is almost like, it's like your friend. And I
Hmm.
don't mean that in like a tragic way. I mean that in like a really cool way of like, TikTok becomes like, you know how it is. Okay, because
It
you have,
lets you know who's watching.
yeah, but
You're
also
hanging.
think about this. You have a wife, and
Yes.
you guys, and I know you guys, and you guys are awesome, and probably on a regular basis you think, because you guys are both comedians, you think of like funny shit with
Hmm.
your wife or your friends that you would love to tell them.
Right.
But like, and so if your mind is firing like 24/7, like funny thing, funny thing, funny thing, funny thing, it's like, for me, I'm like, I would just annoy all my friends and family if I was constantly like, just, and I do send my friends a lot of funny voice memos, but if
Yeah.
I was just constantly like, hey, blah, 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 hey, blah, blah, blah. So I just, you know, like, and you know, probably sometimes your wife is like, Evan, I love you. You're hilarious, but like, I'm fucking tired. Go to bed.
I say the same. Well, she says that to me half the time anyway. But still, like, yeah, it's like I would just repeat the same stuff over and over again to her. It's just that sound that annoys her. There's never like new, it's just golden oldies.
Just golden. But the fun
Yeah.
thing about, for me with TikTok, is TikTok, it basically has turned into like my friend who, like, when I have a hilarious thought in the middle of the night, you know,
Hmm.
that I want someone to know, I'm like, TikTok, TikTok can know, you know, so I can,
Nice.
and I also use it in a way, you know, I'm getting more into stand-up comedy and getting more into writing. So it's kind of a really cool medium. Like, I use social media in a way as like a playground, like a testing, like to test things out.
Right.
So it's kind of like, you know how when stand-up comedian, you know, you do stand-up, like when you're stand-up and you go to an open mic and you test your jokes out
Hmm.
and you test out your material, and then you see how the audience responds, and then you modify accordingly. For me, social media is a very similar thing. So like I test out material, or I test out characters, and some of them, sometimes it's like almost a rehearsal process that I'm filming. Like, I'm writing a sketch show that I'm going to film in the next few months, and like the characters are all going to be what I've already done before, and skits that I've done on social media that have been successful, but they're just going to be more refined. But I'll
Hmm.
probably take some of the jokes that like really hit hard on social media, and like the thing, you know, like,
Hmm.
and use that and put that
Oh, sure.
in the writing of my sketch. So social media is like really cool because it's like you can,
Pull from it. Yeah.
yeah, and you can survey the audience. You can like
Hmm.
throw out jokes and see like, oh, people like that joke. Oh, people don't like that joke. Oh,
Yeah.
that's funny. Oh, people love that character. Oh, they
Hmm.
don't like this character.
Yeah.
Um, so I just go hard. But yeah, I did start. I mean, in April, I turned 41 this year, and I had kind of like a midlife crisis moment. I did. I had like, I just
I
like,
thought you had not gotten there yet. I mean, you seem, you're still coming off like, I'm, younger, but still, I'm not gonna.
well,
Yeah,
thanks.
it's great. Yeah, yeah,
I just had, I just had, I mean, it's hard. Like, being a professional artist and entertainer, it's
yeah,
like, it's simultaneously like incredibly amazing, but like when you go through the hard parts, like it's
yeah.
hard. It's really hard. And also like it's like things were going well, but,
Hmm.
and also like, it sucks that it's this way, but when you're a woman, you just fucking like, I'm single, I'm not married, I don't have kids, like, you feel like there's this clock, like the older you get, the louder there's this clock that's like, kung,
I was
kung,
like Stranger
kung.
Things.
Hmm?
It's like
Yeah,
Stranger
yeah.
Things. You got
It's
that. That's the
exactly like,
Vecna is coming.
yes. And it's like, and even if you don't want to have kids, the clock is telling you that you're going to age out of your, like, everything. And I can't even imagine what it's like for other women, because I consider myself pretty immune, pretty
Right.
like pretty immune to the bullshit, and
Yeah.
pretty like,
Yeah.
okay, well,
Yeah.
fuck that noise. So like for women who believe that noise, I'm like,
Yeah.
what's it like
Yeah.
for you, you know?
Yeah.
Um, anyway, so it was like I had a stressful month and nothing was going well. And it was like literally like a day after my birthday. And I was like hugging my dog on my kitchen floor, just sobbing, just like, and I also think I was like, was up for the lead. I was on a veil, which
Yeah.
means your availability. If you don't know, I
Yeah.
was on a veil
Yeah.
for the lead in the feature film.
Wow.
It was going to be a pretty big deal. And then the way that I found out that I didn't get it is I got an audition for a smaller role. And then I was also on a veil for another lead in another feature film that was going to be this musical. And like, and I just nailed it. Like the one that was a musical, like it was just like I should have gotten that role. And it was going to be me and my friend who were both going to be playing two characters, and it was going to be very like crazy makeup and wigs and like really over the top. And it was like, we just should have gotten it, and that's that. And so I was
Yeah.
just like so sad, because it was like, and that's how this industry is sometimes. You go from these high highs of like, I'm on a veil for a movie, these low lows of like, I didn't book it, and I'm 41, and and I'm a freelancer, and it's been a slow month for business, and I fucking have bills due, and like, who am I? And then you're hugging your dog,
Yeah.
crying in the middle of your kitchen floor. So then I was just like, and I was like, sometimes I flirt with quitting, and I only say that because
everyone does.
yeah, because it's honest. But then it's like I literally like, and every time I think about quitting, here's what's crazy is I'm like, it's not even anything cool that stops me.
Right.
It's that I'm like, bitch, you're in too deep. Like, this is all you have. Like,
Right.
I literally don't. I didn't go to college. I don't have a degree. Like, I mean, I guess there's skills that I have, but like, I hate
Yeah.
everything else so much. Like every other job that I could
Right.
do, every time I think about it, I'm like, that would never work. Like,
You jump out the window.
right? Or you could even go so far. I could even go so far as to like go back to school, be a nurse, and then like kill a patient and like get kicked out of nursing for the rest of my life and be. What is it that Jim Carrey says? It's like you could always fail at what you don't like, so you might as well do what you like.
Right.
So I'm always come back around to like, this is it, bitch. Like,
Yeah.
whether you like it or not, like this is your business.
Good.
So then I decided, I was like, it's my birthday month. I'm gonna fucking go harder than I ever have before. And I did, and I went on my graph for TikTok. I went from posting like 5 or 6 times a week
Yeah.
to like posting like 20 times a week.
Wow.
So I basically like 5x'd my stuff, and I was posting on TikTok all the time, and like my stats. And then I had a video go viral, and then I had more videos go viral, and then here we are. And I'm gonna be a star.
Well, I want to share this because this is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
You also have this whole thing. Boom.
Boom.
Elisabeth Donaldson Creative. So you do everything from both sides of the camera.
Yeah, I do.
So you're like, I met you initially through your sister. Your sister did photography for me, my first headshots in LA. Hello, Heather.
Hello, Heather. Hello, Heather.
But yeah, you do everything.
Yeah.
So that's like amazing too.
Thank you.
How would you fix my wardrobe?
Well, that would be it would depend. I mean, I style. First of all, as a stylist, I don't really do personal styling because I hate it.
That's okay. Then you're fired. Okay, that's okay.
But the silent, like here, click on the Dolly Parton link. Click on this.
Oh yeah, let's look at that.
So these are all the music I style. I didn't style Dolly. I style the Black Keys music video.
Okay.
Country people. So I do music video. I mean,
there's Vecna with the clock right there.
Yeah. And I used to do styling for music videos, and I would do a lot of like storyline styling. especially in country music, a lot of times they have like the artist and they're singing a song,
Yeah.
and then oh no, my phone number's not on there.
No,
Here,
no,
go
no.
back, go back, and I'll show you. We can look at my photos.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you go to
We're,
home, click on. It's kind of set up with the click on the photographer one.
yeah, let's get.
Here's my photography.
Oh, gorgeous.
Thank you. Yeah, it's so funny. Some of these are some of them are new or newer, and then some, like I'll go through every so often, but I just sort of arrange them by like which ones I like. But some of them I'm like, oh fuck, I haven't seen that photo in a super long time.
Oh.
Um,
But he's like, it's just like there's you're going all in. I mean, it looks like this is everything.
Yeah, it's all of it. I mean, I've cut back a lot on styling. I just kind of do it when I want to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think it all is sort of setting me up to like write my own stuff. You know, that's what I'm pretty passionate about. And again, I think that's what I love about living in Nashville, and the approach that I think every actor, I mean, if we're speaking to an audience of actors, but I guess this would apply to everyone.
No, it's my
like
podcast, anyone.
Yeah, it's just great it's really good to get yourself experience, to put your hands in a lot of places, because even if you decide like, oh, I'm not going to do this forever, it's just going to add so much more to everything else that you're doing, you know?
Yeah.
And for me, it's like, because I'm a photographer, people are always like, how do you pose so well? And I'm like, well, 'cause I know what it's like on the other side of the camera.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so I just know what to do. Or because I've shot music videos and I do photography, when I'm on set, I'm super aware of all the lighting. So, and I know why, like when a director directs me, sometimes a director will give you a direction that's for the shot.
Right.
It has nothing to do with acting. They want you to turn your face or do the thing and catch the light for the shot. So it's like, when you know about that, or like I had an independent film that I shot and I knew where the light was. And so I knew I was able to, and it was like this really emotional scene, but I was able to like, because I could feel the camera and I could like conceive of what it's like to be behind that camera. So I, at the exact right moment, was able to lift my eyes up because I knew that the light would catch in my eyes and that it would just look a million times cooler than if I was just like, and so that it's, I guess, like as an actor, it gives me this kind of well-rounded thing where I'm like, because I think that with storytelling, I mean, I don't know, actors sometimes get super into like their feelings and like, you know, but do you know what I mean? They're like, ooh, I felt this scene, or like authenticity, and that's cool.
Yes.
But the thing that's super interesting is like when you watch a film, in my observation and opinion, the things that are creating emotion in that film are like the cinematography, like doing a slow zoom in onto someone, like they could literally just be sitting there, doing nothing, staring off into space, and a slow zoom combined with the right music will make you as an audience member feel so many things, you know? Or
that's Bruce Springsteen's Brilliant Disguise video. That's the whole video. It's just him playing, and I think they just gradually zoom in on him the whole time.
That's amazing. Like, it's a thing, but it's like, so there's all these tools with storytelling, and like, and I've also seen it when I do self-tapes or different auditions, or even working with actors. There's times where like I do a take where I really felt it and I cried. Like actors worry so much about crying, you know, and I really felt things. And then I watch it back and I'm like, that was shitty. And then I do one where I like didn't really feel as much, you know, like I felt it in a different way of like understanding the material, and it looks fucking great, you know.
It's great.
So yeah, good.
I'm impressed.
Thank you.
So I look forward. Where can we follow your TikTok?
It's just my name. It's just Elisabeth Donaldson. Yeah, I was smart a long time ago. I just made everything my name.
Oh, that's good.
Because I just didn't want to have to like, you know how it is. Like I didn't want to be something cute. Like when Instagram first came out, it was like, I'm Bright Light Fire. I'm like Zubada.69 dash.
Have you ever spoken to other Elisabeth Donaldsons?
Yes. It's funny. I actually am friends with a whole bunch of other Elisabeth Donaldsons on Facebook. And they're all very
cool.
Yeah, they're all very nice people.
Oh, yeah. Did you have like, is it a Facebook group?
No, it's just like I always find them and I friend request them. And then I also have a girl, there's some girl who's like literally, it's so funny. Everyone named Elisabeth Donaldson, tremendously nice person. I have a girl who she kept getting emails about styling jobs. Because
They thought it
people
was you.
they thought it was me. And then so she somehow, I don't know how she figured it out, but she would forward me all the emails, like call sheets and like all this stuff.
Yeah, and one time I made a flight reservation. Maybe I typed in the email wrong, but I went to another Wecksell in Sweden. And I know a lot of Swedish Wexcells, and they forwarded me the email.
That's so
Like, I
fun.
think this is yours. Like, okay, thanks. Thanks, Pele. All right.
Like, thanks,
There's
bro.
also, I also, now when I type Elisabeth Donaldson, I also get like Elisabeth Donaldson obituaries, which is kind of sad. Elisabeth Donaldson died on May 12th of this year. And then there's another one that left us on June 23rd. So you're winning.
I'm winning.
You're winning
Yeah.
the Hunger Games of Elisabeth Donaldson.
I'm in the front. I'm in the front.
I did one of my favorite episodes is when I got to interview two people with the same name at the same time. They're both my Facebook friends. So two Carrie Ann Wallaces at the same time was one of my favorite things
That's
to
really
do.
fun.
But yeah, one Elisabeth Donaldson, she was 97. Should we share this? Let's
Yeah,
pay
yeah.
tribute to
Share it.
Elisabeth Donaldson.
Let's share it.
Elizabeth Donaldson,
She's a what?
Betty.
She's a babe.
Yes, I think she outdid Betty White though. Yeah, it's good. Good job, Elizabeth. There's another one. This is so morbid. Here's the one from Day nearby. She left us like 2 months ago. There was another Donaldson in Tennessee.
That's crazy.
Well, she survived by her husband, Reverend Donaldson.
I've done freaking like commercials for a funeral home company. And it's like really funny where I like talk really seriously about cremation, except they wanted me to say cremation. I don't know, like not
cremation. Yeah.
Cremation. And then there's like a lot of, and I've searched on the internet for these photos. So if like anyone out there in the world could ever find these, I'd be forever grateful for people to find these freaking photos of me in a gray suit and traditional hair holding urns and like smiling like
as a fan of the Undertaker, I appreciate that.
I hope that someday, it's like my biggest hope that like all of the cringy things that I've done, like
put it on your website.
It's true, but it's tricky because you can't necessarily, when you're still in the realm where you need that work, you can't make fun of it yet. You know what I mean? Like,
I would still do anything. I'd still make fun of it though. I mean, I've had that weird credits, but yeah.
But have you posed with a urn?
No, I would love to.
I just can't make fun of the funeral home yet because they still hire me sometimes.
Oh, that's good. So I don't do that. Maybe have like your own page of just funeral stuff, funeral shoots. Get in the whole network. They'll fight over you. I want her for my funeral home. No.
Yeah, funeral homes, retirement homes. They're great. They're like, nobody has ever taken better care of me. Like, they pay immediately. They pay really well. The sets are always catered. Like, oh God, such delicious food.
Yeah, you have a good classic look. I feel like you could look like someone from the 40s that came back to present day.
Yeah.
And you're like, so it's good.
Yeah, whenever I get my hair cut, that's what I tell my stylist. I'm like, I want my hair to work for like 40s, 50s, 60s, and like 80s, 90s, and a little 2000s. That's pretty much everything but the 70s.
Like 2019, not 2020 or 2021, maybe 2022.
But like bobs, like I don't think that I look like a 70s babe. I mean, it's like I could, you know what I mean? Like, no, like it's fine, like but it's just not. I think that like I knocked 60s out of the park, you know?
Yes. I think this was amazing. I think if ever there's an opportunity for us to review something together, we should review it because I think you would have good takes on whatever.
Yeah.
I would have it be on even on takes things of nothing you're familiar with. Like we could review cricket.
Oh,
and then you could, I don't know.
I love reviews.
Yeah.
That was me watching the Elvis movie last night. Like,
oh, you have seen it. I haven't seen it yet. I will.
Probably it's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, on a plane, it'll be so small.
Yeah, it's probably, it screams plane to me. I just have a feeling.
That's fair.
I don't know where it's going to be streamed. So
yeah.
Anyway. All right, Elisabeth Donaldson on every network. And this was nice catching up. I look
Yeah.
forward to your videos.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
Thanks for having me.
keep 5xing that shit. So
Yeah. Yeah. I got to hire
yeah.
an assistant next. So.
Oh, there you go. There you
Yeah.
go. Right up
Because you
that
get to the
hat.
point. I'm at the top of the brick lane. You know
Right
what I
up
mean?
that. Let's change some power. Let's give it
Yeah.
over to someone you know that you can yell at and ask for coffee, and they bring it to you, and then you slap it out of their hand and be like, I want a decaf.
I want a decaf.
Be that
No, I
person.
had an assistant once. It didn't go well, but
I've had interns once in a while, but
yeah,
they're more just to be clones of me.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So clones on the back end, the behind the scenes.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Good. Glad we met. Well, obviously we met, but glad we got together on this finally.
Same.
And I will put this out. We will share with the world. And let's get shooting, I guess.
Yeah.
Let's book a shoot with Donaldson Creative. EDC hashtag.
Do it. Book it.
All right.